Welcome everyone to the MDSCL alumni panel and admissions webinar that we're running today. I'm Garrett Nicolai. I'm the director of the Master of Data Science program, Computational Linguistics at UBC, and I'm also a professor in the program. I teach several classes related to computational linguistics. I'd like to introduce our panelists. I'll start with Jonathan. If you'd like to introduce yourself and just mention when you graduated from the program, what kind of experience you had coming into the program, as well as what you're doing now.
Okay. Hi, thanks, Garrett. I'm Jonathan. I just graduated, I guess last week. We finished in June, so I was part of the 2024 to 2025 cohort. Before that, I was working as an English teacher in South Korea, and before that, I was studying linguistics in St. Mary's University. So I have my undergrad in linguistics, and that's what brought me to this program.
Oh, thank you, Jonathan. Daniel, if you want to go next.
Yeah, hey guys. Yeah. I graduated in 2024, I think so. Yeah, in 2024. Yeah, so 1 year ago. Yeah, before of that I was a software engineer in Amazon. I was working there and I wanted to go into the linguistic field. And that's it.
And what are you doing now? Sorry.
Oh yeah, I am a Gen AI engineer in a company named Apexon. I'm currently a contractor in McKinsey right now.
All right, thank you. And Ananya, if you want to introduce yourself as well.
Yeah. Hi, guys. I'm Ananya. I was a part of the 2023 cohort of MDSCL. Before MDSCL, my background is in electronics and computer science engineering, and then I was a systems analyst for 1 year, and then I joined the program, and now I'm a senior data scientist at CGI.
All right, thank you. And also, you've submitted capstone projects this year for the program as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, I have. So hopefully that works out. Yeah.
All right. So we have several questions that have been submitted beforehand. I'll let our attendees know that if you do have a question that comes up, you're welcome to submit it in the chat or put your hand up and we can get to you as well. But we'll start with the questions that were submitted beforehand. So I'm going to start actually with just a very simple question related to capstones. If you just want to briefly talk about the capstone project that you did at the end of the program. So the capstone is the last 2 months of the program. If you just want to talk briefly about what you did for your capstone projects. Let's
Sure.
start with Jonathan.
Yeah, same order. So my capstone was with BC Children's Hospital. They had a large amount of documents for us, and they wanted to have a chatbot that could answer medical questions reliably without hallucinating. So we had to make a retrieval system for them that would use their corpus of documents they gave us to answer relevant questions about medicine. Yeah.
Thank you. Daniel, go ahead.
Yeah, I worked in predicting, classifying Alzheimer's disease through speech in my capstone. It was so interesting. The thing is, we use a lot of models. We use like a lot of strategies, and this capstone for me was very useful because it helped me to go out into a startup health company previously of my current job. So it was very useful.
Thank you. And Ananya.
So my capstone was with the Toronto Law School, the U of T Law School, and Legal Hackers, which was like a nonprofit, I think. And then that was we were basically trying to analyze eviction data and figure out if there's any patterns to whether or not somebody is going to get evicted or not. And so there were two aspects to this project. One of it was the prediction part. One of it was the data mining part. And I was working on the data mining part of the project, which was very interesting. I definitely learned a lot of cool data mining things. So yeah, and it's definitely useful even now in my job. So
yeah, all right, thank you. So yeah, three very, very different projects for the capstones, and this is typical of the program. We get lots of different projects that come in into the program. I'll start now with so we've talked about capstones. What was the let's start with what was the most exciting thing that you did during the program? And if it was capstone, it was capstone, but if it was something else, let us know. And also, what was the hardest thing that you had to deal with when you were in the program? I'll give you some time to think about it.
Can start again for
Yeah,
going in the
yeah,
same
go ahead,
order.
John.
Yeah. So yeah, the most exciting thing was the capstone because it was a longer project and we were kind of given free rein to do whatever we wanted. It also gave us a taste of what it was like to work with stakeholders and have, weekly stand-up meetings, figure out what we were doing, how it aligned with what they wanted. So that was good experience. And of course, yeah, doing like retrieval augmented generation felt very fun. It was kind of uh, what's hot in AI right now, apart from agentic workflows. Working on a team, all of that was made it very exciting as opposed to the class environment where you get some of those things, but not all of them put together.
Yeah. And what about the hardest thing?
Math. So I came from a linguistics background. I didn't really have any experience with linear algebra. And in some of the more machine learning heavy courses, you can get through it without having a ton of knowledge, but it definitely would help to understand more about what's going on mathematically, I think, especially if you're interested in becoming a machine learning engineer.
Yeah. Daniel, what about you?
Yeah, I think the most difficult thing for me was the um, John's course. I don't know which was the name of the course.
Yeah, that would be the machine supervised learning too, I imagine, the deep learning course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one that we train LLMs with GPUs, that kind of stuff was very difficult. At that time, the LLMs were very new, so downloading locally and that kind of stuff was like kind of messy. It wasn't that easy as now, but yeah, it was very exciting for me too because it allowed me to explore the new LLMs era, the starting of agents, retrievals, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Hey, cool. And what about you, Ananya?
The most exciting class for me definitely was the machine translation class. Um, I was interested in computational linguistics because I wanted to do machine translation, and so getting to learn about all of the models that we could use, like all of the neural techniques in order to translate, and like treating translation as a problem, like as a computational problem. That was very interesting for me. And honestly, all of the CL assignments specifically, like the semantics assignments, the sentiment analysis assignments, morphology. I can go on and on, honestly, but all the assignments I found very exciting. They were like, they let me like understand various parts of the problem, and then in the capstone, I got to put it all together, put all of my knowledge together. So that was really fun. As the hardest thing, I would say statistics. That was pretty tough for me to do. But yeah, that was because I don't really have like I approached sort of this from more of a computer science background, so statistics wasn't really something that I'd looked into. Yeah, but yeah, that was the hardest part.
All right, thank you. I think this highlights the interdisciplinary nature of the program. So we have the stats, we have the CS and the machine learning, we have the linguistic stuff as well. That it's really a balance of putting them together in different areas of the program. So yeah, it's something that we work on, but different parts are different are exciting or harder for different students, and this is typical every year. Um, I'll ask you another. So this is maybe about some of your classmates in the program and just what you heard they were doing afterwards. But you all went to work in industry after the program. Um, and the program is set up as a professional program to get people into industry. Do you know of anybody who went on to pursue PhDs afterwards? And this can be open to any of you, or just went on to more academics afterwards.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard from Nicole.
Yes, I have.
So I think Nicole's story was the funnest for me because it combines her hobby with her master's. She loves diving, and there was a PhD specifically, I think, for using machine learning to map coral reefs.
Yes, yes.
So she had talked about maybe applying, and then we got news recently that she was accepted into the program. So she's become a machine learning diver, which is fantastic for her. Um, Not from CL, but I know someone from MDSV as well that recently got accepted into a PhD with, I believe, the company he was doing his capstone with as well. Or not the company, but the department at UBC he was doing his capstone with. So yeah.
All right. And I'll expand the question a little bit more as well. So I think one of the worries of people in the program wondering if they can go on to a PhD is, are there opportunities to do research-like stuff during the program that might then be able to go into an application for further academics? And feel free, anyone, to chime in.
I can actually jump in because I think when we were, I think, almost 75% into the program, Garrett told us about like sigmorphin, which was the I'm blanking the full form of sigmorphin, but basically it's like an association for computational morphology. And then
Yes.
what we were doing was a shared task, which was like an introduction to research and approaching a research problem. And I think that was one thing, that was one opportunity. And I feel like if you want to do research, there's a lot of opportunities that you can actually make it happen. So I definitely had a lot of fun doing the shared task. Yeah, thanks, Garrett.
I would add that I'm not sure if Jen was there 2 years ago during your cohort, but now Jen is typically running anywhere between 6 to 8 research
Yeah.
projects. You can become a research assistant with him. I personally didn't do that. I felt that I was busy enough with the courses as it were. But if you're coming from a background already in CS or statistics or something, and you feel like you have a really strong grasp on what you're learning in the material, and it's kind of just augmenting your knowledge, um, or any other reason, if you find you have enough time, you can become a research assistant as well for your time, maybe for the whole time, maybe starting in January. I would advise not doing it right away, but take a couple of months, get used to the program, and then there are a lot of options available for research assistant projects.
Yeah, we just actually started up some projects for this year's cohort in block 3, so in November, December. But I think it works better in term 2. I agree. Daniel, anything to add or?
Yeah, I think the program, some classes are very focused to read papers and research by your own. So that's like a skill you have to learn right now. The field is advancing so fast that you have to do it. Yeah, so the program helps you with that.
All right. So one thing that I know a lot of students coming in are really interested in is what kind of skills beyond the prerequisites for the program or the do you think you could it would help to shore up on? You've mentioned a few like stats and the math. But is there anything specifically that would be useful to make sure you understand well, even in preparation of what you're going to be learning in the program? And again, this can be anyone who wants to answer.
Sure. Yeah, I would say, although it would be great to have math and stats, like Python, do anything with Python. Get comfortable with Python, specifically if you want to try out some machine learning before coming in. Like you're going to be using a lot of PyTorch, especially in the second half where we're focusing mostly on computational linguistics. Apart from those types of skills, I would say time management. Get your time management in order because it's going to be hard when you get into the program. If you're spending, 4 hours a day on your phone, it's going to be really hard to keep up. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah, and yeah, the prereqs are there for a reason. So the prereqs for to remind people are just one math class, either calculus or linear algebra, one stats class, one programming class. So we put them there because we want people to get that background. But yeah, I agree that what you said previously about stats, yeah, just making sure that you refresh if it's been a few years since you took a stats class. And also, yeah, programming experience never never goes or is never a bad decision, I don't think.
Yeah,
Daniel, did you have something to add?
yeah, I think I was very like confident, even though I have my background in engineering and also in coding, but I didn't do those courses. In the
Yeah.
moment I got into the masters was running so fast that I wished I had done those courses. So maybe just for refreshing, something like that, I advise to do that course. Yeah.
So, I'm gonna so you guys didn't take the MDSV program, obvious, or the MDSO program. But what would you say distinguishes the CL program from the V? So the first half of the year is completely with the MDSV cohort. So you likely made friends with the MDSV team and talked back and forth. What would you say distinguishes the CL program from the other data science programs or data science in general? What makes it CL?
I would like to jump in because I know there was a big change in MDSV last year in terms of how you're evaluated throughout the year. Um, there were a lot of complaints from my classmates from MDSV about the way everything is auto-graded, and I think that comes from having such a large cohort. When you switch to primarily CL courses, everything is graded manually, and there is a lot more, it feels a lot more comfortable. And that also means you can have assignments that are more in-depth, I suppose, or more specific, things that wouldn't really work in an auto-grading system. As for what makes CL different, obviously, everything that's big in AI right now is focusing on LLMs, whether it's agentic workflows or retrieval augmented generation. I think MDSV really only spent a couple weeks on things that we spent several months on. And I don't have the statistics in front of me, but I think because of that, this year particularly, MDS-CL grads have had a lot better results finding jobs after we graduated. That's what I've heard from both MDSV and MDS-CL people, is that we have a reputation right now among the MDSV grads that we're getting jobs and they're not. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I've heard.
Yeah, I'll counter that. I know that the MDSV and MDSO programs dive a lot deeper into the statistical analysis stuff. So once we get into term two, we really do pivot over to the language analysis and working with LLMs and AI models. So although we are a data science program, the data science part of it is really during the first term, and then the second term becomes more computational linguistics and more both linguistic processing and computational processing of language. Ananya, Daniel, do you have any comments on this? Now that you've been in the field for a little bit as well, you might have a different perspective.
Yeah, I can actually add a couple of points as well. So I think especially in the 2023 cohort, I think we were focusing a lot on just neural networks, like traditional machine learning too. Like there was a lot of basically understanding the science behind what LLMs are right now. Like we kind of build this basis of knowledge where like I think we're kind of really some of the best people to be able to work with LLMs now because we have all of that background. So yeah, absolutely. Like I noticed especially that like I'm able to build end-to-end solutions with LLMs a lot better because I understand a lot of things about LLMs that people even who have been in data science for a while don't really seem to get because they just don't have that. They haven't really explored the linguistics aspect of it. And honestly, most of the LLMs are like, there's a lot of like computational linguistics that goes into it. So yeah, it definitely gave me an edge when I was working.
Yeah, from my side, I can say that the CL is more like program is more like personalized, like you receive feedback more directly from your teachers, or also, yeah, I don't know. Um, yeah, I think that's it. We are fewer than V program, so I don't know. It's awesome. You get to know all your friends, yeah, your classmates. So the support is greater. Even as Jonathan said, the grades, you receive more feedback, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. And just for perspective, the MDS CL program has typically been about 30 to 40 students per cohort. MDSV is about, I believe it's about 80 per two section. So there are two sections of 80 students in each of them. And then MDSO, I believe, is about 50 students in the program. So yeah, the cohort sizes are different. And yeah, it's good to hear that there are benefits to being in a smaller cohort. I'll pivot off of this, and then so we heard a little bit in the last responses, but how do you feel the field or the program is keeping up with the fast pace of changing the field? So you all have different perspectives from different years in the program. So I can't. I'll start. Like Jonathan, you were talking about agentic workflows. Ananya, I can't remember. Were we doing agentic workflows when you were in the program?
No, I
No.
don't think
Yeah.
we were.
Okay. So,
I
yeah.
think ChatGPT 3 had just come out when we were in the middle of the program, and then suddenly the really interesting part was that we sort of had to adapt our curriculum to how fast this field
Yeah.
was changing. And I remember that the trends in computational linguistics course had to change quite a bit to just keep up. And like we did manage to keep up. Like I feel like when I entered like the job market right after the program, I was able to like actually like when people were talking about a lot of these new and emerging things, I was like, oh yeah, I've actually done a project on that. I've encountered that before. So that was really great for me.
Yeah, and I'm
But yeah,
glad you mentioned
I'd love to know. Sorry,
oh,
yeah.
so sorry. I was gonna say I'm glad you mentioned the trends course because that is one thing that we built into the program right when the program started because we knew that things were going to be changing quickly.
Yeah.
But we also we have a very dedicated faculty team to the MDSCL that it's basically all we teach. So we are able to revitalize courses fairly quickly. It's often difficult to completely rewrite courses year to year to year, but we are able to introduce new things into the program year to year to make sure that students are ready to enter the field. Daniel, how about you? Was there yeah, what's your perspective on this?
Yeah, I think you can like track MDS CL with the ChatGPT releases. For me, it was like ChatGPT 4 or something, not even
Mhm.
ChatGPT O. So yeah, we didn't like mm, so agentic workflows. We just saw like RAG and that kind of stuff. But yeah, the program gave me like the basis just to learn and by my own very fast. Yeah, it was so cool. I also remember that Jan was stressed because every year he has to rewrite the translation course. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so Jan is Dr. Jan Zhu in our department, and we joke sometimes that he has the hardest courses in the program because he's teaching the deep learning course, he's teaching the generation course, he's teaching the trends course. So yes, he is very stressed with rebuilding these courses every year as new technologies come out. But yeah, I think we do make a real effort to make sure that things are up to date as much as possible, and prepare you with the skills to be able to enter the workplace. Um, I'll shift a little bit to during the program. Then this is an intense program. What advice do you provide for students taking the program? Are they able to work? Are they able to do it part-time? Are they able to do you have time to do anything other than the program? Yeah, like what strategies did you use to be able to survive through the program? And is there a difference between the capstones and coursework? Yeah, these types of things related to just the pace of the program and dealing with it. And feel free, anyone to chime in.
Yeah.
I can. Oh, sorry, Daniel.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
okay.
Yeah, go ahead,
Okay.
Ananya.
So basically, the program is very, very fast paced. I would not recommend working during the program. I personally did not have time to focus on anything but the program. And yeah, like if you are able to do it, then sure, I would not recommend working at all or doing this part time. This does take over a lot of your time, basically. And then strategies to deal with the program is like, at least in my case, I found that like just leaning on the professors, leaning on your the people with you in your cohort, like everybody, your friends, like just sort of I definitely had like a collaborative experience of like, we would talk about the labs, we would talk about like how we're approaching the problems, how we're designing our solutions. I definitely got like so much more insight than if I was just like working on the problems by myself, because everybody approaches problems so differently. So like I feel like I just got a lot more out of the program because I was leaning pretty heavily on everybody around me, all of my friends. And yeah, like I think Jonathan already mentioned this, which was like time management. Just make sure that yeah, you're putting your full focus into everything in the program, because you do definitely like learn a lot. You get a lot out of it. So yeah.
Jonathan, Daniel, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I can go next. Yeah, I think for me, my case was very particularly because I had the scholarship, but I didn't have like much money to live. So I had to do some part-time works, like for example, with some PhD students, like helping them with NLP or something like that. Um, but yeah, as Ananya say, I do not recommend it. If you can like take the time to learn, it will be better, because sometimes, for example, I couldn't go to a lab or something like that, and I felt like, oh man, yeah. And also be very organized with your time. For example, I used to go always to the pool to swim every morning in order, yeah, to clear your head, because that program can like affect you in some ways. Yeah.
Anything to add, Jonathan?
I don't know if this is the place for it, but yeah, I'll reiterate time management, because if you don't manage your time well, um, especially in the newer cohort, and as time goes on, AI does get better. And AI can help you with these questions, but you need to be very careful about using AI. Because if you rely on it too much, you're just paying whatever, 35,000, 50,000, 60,000 if you're an international student for a piece of paper. And then you're going to get to the interviews and you're not going to know how to answer the questions. So yeah, I'll reiterate time management. Maybe don't work unless you really have to. I know people who were working and they were exhausted all the time. And the only reason they could work is because they were already professionals in the field for a long time. And it was still hard for them. So yeah, it takes a lot of time. And if you're not careful with your time, you're going to end up falling behind and wanting to rely on AI tools. And it's not something I would recommend.
All right. The next question is more post-program, how the program prepares you for post-program. Do you feel that it helped you develop something like an entrepreneurial mindset, or was it more based on yeah, being part of a larger team and just developing to deadlines, or how would you say the program prepares you in those ways?
Yeah, I can go. In my case, I think, yeah, for example, something that is, I ended up working in two startups after the program, and I think like one skill you learn in the MDS program that I didn't have in Amazon was like coding very fast and iterating very fast. So the stress in the program is like being in a startup, kind of less. So you have to do everything very fast. You have like homework every week, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think after that you can learn everything and iterate very fast. So that's like a skill you want to use if you want to be like an entrepreneur.
Ananya, Jonathan, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I can. So I think for at least from my experience, it was more just learning to work with people from diverse backgrounds, people who have different kinds of skill sets, and sort of uh, working with them to sort of build something that has all of their perspectives in mind. I think that was a really valuable skill that helped me in my work experience so far, because data science is really very interdisciplinary, and I feel like it people from different backgrounds only add to your data science solution. So yeah.
All right. I have a question actually about the field in general. And so there's a question about do you have the ability to work with data other than linguistics as well? I think when you hear the term computational linguistics, you tend to think that it's all grammar analysis and drawing trees. And I know, Jonathan, your favorite POS tagging. But yeah, did you have a chance to or do you feel you have the skills to work with other types of data as well than just the strict linguistic data?
I would say yes, but it might require going back to some of the resources that we didn't have in our second semester. We have access to all the MDSV resources. So if you feel you're leaning heavily towards non-language data and you don't really vibe with NLP, it's still possible. Yeah, I would say it's still possible. Most people can work with numbers. I think fewer people can work with language.
And I'll just highlight that you said language instead of linguistics there. So there is a difference. Linguistics, of course, is the field with doing, yeah, trees, grammar. But language data it permeates through all sorts of other areas. As Ananya said, she worked with legal data. Daniel, you worked with health data in your capstone. Jonathan, you were working with government data. So yeah, language data is everywhere. But yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, there are other resources as well that can help you shore up if you need to work with more with numerical data or other types of data. Let me see. I see a lot of the questions are for admissions. I'll leave those until the second part of our webinar. But do you feel that the program is better suited for people who come from a computational background or from other types of educational backgrounds? And yeah, feel free. Yeah, you're all from different backgrounds, so I mean, you have your own perspective on it. But just what you saw from other students in the program, maybe that were doing better or worse in the program, from your perspective,
Yeah,
what is it geared towards?
I think it really depends on what you want to get out of it. I assume the reason you take people from different backgrounds is because they have different strengths. I'll be the first to admit that a lot of my classmates are better engineers than I am. Whereas I might excel in actually explaining what we're working on to someone who's not an engineer at all and who has never touched engineering in their life, which is going to be a lot of your project managers and your stakeholders. So I think if you're coming from a background that's not engineering heavy, I wouldn't worry about it too much. You will need to work hard to get through the content, but maybe the direction you end up falling in love with or wanting to move towards is more towards like product management, sales engineer, that type of thing. So yeah, it really depends what you want to get out of the program and where you want to work.
All right. And Daniel, more from the computer science or engineering side, do you have any different perspective?
I think my internet just disconnected, so I lost the question.
Oh
The
yeah.
connection.
So the question is just about do you think that this who do you think this program is better suited for people with engineering computer backgrounds, or people who are from more arts or maybe business backgrounds, or is it well adapted for both?
Yeah, I mean, like as Jonathan said, I think everyone has their strengths. For example, for me, like I didn't know anything about linguistics, so morphology and semantics were like a headache. But for example, other like the Python and that kind of stuff was very easy. But yeah, everyone has like his strengths and weaknesses. So yeah, if you work hard, you can, and you ask questions and you collaborate with your classmates, you can survive the program.
I hope morphology and semantics were a positive headache.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. No, I'm teasing you, Daniel. Ananya, anything to add?
Yeah, I definitely like I think that having a like coding background does sort of make some of the assignments easier. Um, but you do have a lot of support. Like everybody around you is very invested in your success in the program. So like I think that I know a lot of people, like a lot of friends from arts backgrounds who actually did fall in love with coding, and now they're doing a lot of like more computer science roles, and that is like because of this program. So like there's a lot of different. It does depend on like what you want out of it, and you might find that you actually have an interest in something entirely different from what you've done before. And yeah.
All right, so we're nearing the end of the first 40 minutes. So I'll end with a final question for you. Was there something that came at you really unexpected in the program that you wish you had known about beforehand that hasn't typically been addressed in online FAQs, online types of panels or questions, or just something that you feel would be useful for anyone considering the program that isn't typically discussed? I hope I'm not opening up a can of worms here, but
I can jump
yeah,
on this.
sure.
For me, like the help of the department, like for example, there is like I don't know, I forgot the name of that department. You guys help me with the chair. In that moment, I had like in 2022 a terrible accident climbing.
Oh yeah,
So
like the CFA, the Center for Accommodations, and yeah.
yeah, so that's cool. Like you can present the test like in a standing table, that kind of stuff. So it was very comfy.
Yeah, so yeah, if you are concerned that you have requirements, yeah, the CFA here at UBC is really good for working with the instructors and with students to make sure that that you have everything that's needed to do well in the program. Jonathan, Ananya, anything? I know it's a wild, open-ended question, so it might take some time to think about, but
I don't think anything came out of left field. It's been warned that it's an intensive program, but I think on top of the workload, just the breadth of what we're learning. And I think anyone that looks at the program can see, we take what 20 classes, 24 classes
24, yeah.
Across 6 blocks. So you're constantly challenged to keep up with what you've learned. You might only learn a shallow amount of each different thing, but you're learning a lot of different things. And some of them build on each other. Some of them maybe feel like parallel tracks. So I think the quantity of information that is thrown at you, and you kind of just have to fish through it and figure out what you need and what you want, and just put the rest aside for later.
Yeah, that's something that we hear typically, that a lot of times, even while you're learning it, it just feels overwhelming. And then the ability to come back to it and recognize, how things piece together is something that you can't necessarily do going forward. But once you have some time to breathe, then it becomes possible. Anything from you, Ananya, or?
Yeah, no, pretty much what Jonathan said, that like, yeah, there's a lot that's being covered in the program. I actively had to sort of pull myself away from some of the assignments and be like, okay, I'm going to stop working on this. I can't, like, I need to move on. I need to learn different things. So that's why, like, don't be get into the rabbit holes of like, oh, I have to find the perfect solution or I have to get really deep into morphology. Don't do that. Just learn everything and then figure it out later, whatever you want to do.
All right. I'd like to thank our panelists again. Thanks to all three of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to come and join us. You're welcome to stay for the admissions part of the webinar as well. You might have some insights from the student perspective that I haven't considered. But yeah, if you need it elsewhere, it's also fine for you to step out now. Thanks again, and with that, I'll be moving on to the admissions section of the webinar.
Hi, folks. I'm just going to introduce myself briefly. I work behind the scenes. My name is Vanessa. I'm the marketing coordinator for the Master of Data Science in Computational Linguistics question. I'll just be asking Garrett questions and maybe to our panelists questions as well. I'm going to start with, this is probably, Garrett can answer it or our alumni can answer it. What are the job prospects for positions that are more to do with developing educational tools? So you can start, Garrett, and if you want to
I can talk a little bit about that just with respect to capstones. I happen to know this year we have a capstone project that was submitted about building language learning tools and tools for similar to something like Duolingo or a language learning app. But we've also had opportunities in the past building educational tools for under-resourced languages, building verb conjugators for Ojibwe was a project one year. But anything from our panelists? Do you know anything for building educational tools, or did you see any jobs that were coming up for about building educational tools? No. I think right now a lot of education is trying to work out how to deal with AI and so the building new tools has kind of been put on hold for a short amount of time. But yeah, I think the skills that you learn in the program could set you up to be able to work with educational organizations.
This is jumping on the previous question. I know Jonathan kind of answered it during his the alumni portion of it, and maybe perhaps this person joined a little bit later after the fact. But how is the job market for graduates of this program?
Yeah, Jonathan, you're the most recent on the market. You probably have the best perspective.
I will be honest and say I got kind of lucky. I had a recruiter reach out to me because a new team was being formed in Canada. I know quite a few of my classmates are working though. I would say the job market is good. I want to be cautious. I think a lot of companies are really pushing, AI engineering, agentic AI, and I wasn't sure how long that's going to stick around, so I leaned towards something that was more in my area. I'm doing qualitative work right now as a linguist. But the job market seems to be good. It is very competitive. I'll note that job descriptions might give you imposter syndrome. They might ask you to be an entire data science and ML engineering team when really they only need you to be one small part of that. So I would say consistency of just getting in applications, getting in the interviews, you'll find something.
Yeah, this surprised me. I didn't hear the same thing last week at grad, but it's good to hear. It's good to hear that. Yeah, I mean,
I guess as the person with the job,
yeah,
it feels good. But yeah, most of the people that I talk to from the program still are working.
Okay, great.
Okay, great. A question that came in earlier was, is the Computational Linguistics program, is it eligible for the post-grad work permit?
Yes, we've negotiated with IRCC, which is Immigration Canada, for a 3-year postgraduate work permit. So despite the fact that we're less than a year program, we do have a 3-year PGWP after the program, and international students can start working after they have applied for the PGWP. But the best place to search for this is on the IRCC website about PGWP, because things are changing fairly frequently with respect to PGWP. But yes, we do have a PGWP. I will say a recent change. I saw a question as well related that can your spouse also get a PGWP? Changes have recently occurred that no spouses are no longer eligible for PGWPs for students in the program. I don't agree with the decision, but it is that's what happened. What's happened recently. So as of now, students yes, but spouses no.
I think this is maybe a question that not only Garrett can answer, but perhaps our alumni can answer is what unique things will make an applicant stand out in the admission committee selection process? What makes a successful applicant? Obviously, the three of you must have done a successful application, so there are any tips out there that can help those who are watching this.
Yeah, I'll let the panelists answer this. I have my perspective as well, but I'm interested in what our panelists have to say about this.
I would say I augmented my background of what I did have with the things that I didn't have. So I didn't really study much computer science or statistics in my undergrad, and then I just took, I think, free courses. Like I still had the credits from my undergrad, but I took more free courses online. I talked about them in my application. If you have something you're interested in, you want to do, that's something I put in my application. I specifically talked about projects I was interested in, classes I wanted to take that I thought would align with those projects. So yeah, the typical stuff. Talk about a professor, talk about a project, talk about a class. Show that you've looked into the program and that you're actually interested in it, and it's not just on your long laundry list of programs you're applying to.
Yeah,
I think that would make you stand out.
Yeah, those are both really good tips. I will point out that we can't accept online courses as the prerequisites, but as supplementary material to the prereqs, they are really, really good to have on your application. And likewise, yeah, we want students who want to be here. So indicating that you are passionate about something related to the field and want to do work in it is really a great indicator. Ananya, Daniel, anything to add?
I feel like you guys covered it.
Yeah, I
I would
think
agree with everything. Yeah.
No.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think in my case I just talk about very technical language, technical things like specific models and specific topics I want to learn. As Jonathan said, be very focused in your application. Yep, that's it. I think Jonathan explained it very clearly.
Yeah, and I'll add to that and say that we have lots of information on our website. Show us that you've at least gone to the website and know what the program is about. If we get a statement of purpose that is just kind of a generic, I like data science, without actually pointing towards any of the stuff that we actually do, it's more likely to get rejected just because we assume that it's just apply everywhere that has a program. And so yeah, make sure that it is focused towards the actual program and why you want to be here, and what we can offer you and what you can offer us as well, coming into the program.
We have some quite a few scholarship questions.
Yep.
So maybe you can explain how scholarships work for the MDS Computational Linguistics program. A lot of people are wondering, as an international student, will they be able to get full funding? How do they apply for a scholarship? Maybe you can go through that.
Yeah, so I will start. One thing that we get confusion with every year is the MasterCard Foundation scholarship that is with MDSV. At the moment, MDSCL does not have a MasterCard Foundation scholarship. We're working towards it, but we don't have one at the moment. All of our scholarships come from a scholarship fund that we have bookmarked in our budget. We have $25,000 for international students and $25,000 for domestic students, which isn't a lot when you consider all the fees that are for the program. But the way that we decide where to distribute it, in the past, it's typically been academic merit. So if you have a really, really great GPA coming into the program, we want to reward that. We want strong students in the program. If you have financial need and indicate it, we also consider financial need coming into the program. Although, as I said, the scholarship money tends to be a drop in the bucket compared to everything. And then, yeah, genuine interest in linguistics and in language, working with language is also really indicative for the scholarships. So in the past, we've split it up amongst multiple students. We've occasionally given our entire allotment for international students or domestic students to a single really outstanding student. It really depends on the students that are coming into the program. You don't need to apply for it. You're automatically considered when you accept the offer into the program. And we generally make our scholarship decisions in about March or April, I guess. So if you get an offer and there's no scholarship attached to it, that doesn't mean that you won't be considered for a scholarship when we go through all of our admissions.
Okay, great. We just have a question came in is, are students with a background in computer science at a disadvantage in being admitted when applying for this program? The website says that part of the MDS programs consists of foundational material in computer science and statistics. If you hold an undergraduate degree in one of these areas, please review our course offerings before making the decision to apply for the program.
I wouldn't say it's a disadvantage. As came up earlier in our discussions, having a computer science background can actually be an advantage once you're in the program. The reason that we have that message on the website is we want to make sure that this is the right program for you. If you are already an expert in machine learning and are doing end-to-end agentic systems right off the bat, then you're not going to learn anything from the program. It's not really worth it for you to come into the program. And we've also been recently, in the last few years, there's been an increase in the number of data science undergrads that have been being created. And so if you have an undergrad in data science, then you might learn a little bit in the grad program, but really it's not going to be enough more than the bachelor's to necessarily warrant a full year and full tuition over the program. So that's why we say to look at the program, see what we offer, and make sure that actually aligns with your needs and what you want to do after the program.
We get these questions quite a lot about kind of grades, GPA, and sometimes it's doesn't quite meet the minimum requirement that we want for the prerequisites. How can they make up for the fact of lower grades? And would you consider work experience if they have lower grades?
So yeah, the answer to the work experience question is definitely we get students that come in that haven't sat in a classroom in 10 or 15 years. And so obviously you've had plenty of time to then work on skills that maybe you didn't do as well in the classroom or just are maybe stale from the classroom. So yes, work experience is definitely considered. As far as grades that don't quite meet our threshold, so we have a B+ threshold for our prerequisites. But if you're a little bit under, we can write a rationale to the Faculty of Graduate Studies to accept people who don't quite meet the minimums. It's easier for us to do that if you supplement with other materials. So as Jonathan said previously, if you feel that you're not great at stats and you maybe got a 70 in stats or didn't quite meet that B+ range, take an online course in stats to supplement it and show that you're making an effort to make up for maybe lower grades. That becomes much easier for us to then say to the Faculty of Graduate Studies, look, the student obviously wants to or is putting in the effort to supplement where their application is maybe a little bit weaker, and we definitely take that into consideration in the admissions process.
Okay, great, thanks. This person asked this question about the GPA, and I think we've answered it. So I'm going to paraphrase the question because they asked a question about references or referrals.
Mm-hmm.
So they said I graduated from my Bachelor of Science program 2 years ago. So asking professors for reference letters would be somewhat a challenge for me. What's your requirements on referrals? Is undergraduate referrals a huge thing in admissions process? Perhaps maybe someone in our panel or alumni might have similar experience, and maybe you can share with us who your references were if you were maybe in a similar boat to this person asking the question.
Yeah, I'll let our panelists answer first, just you don't have to give names, but if you just want to say how you went about collecting references.
Yeah, for me, it wasn't like any about academics. It was just work experience. So I think I just submitted like two reference from my previous works, like Amazon and another one, and that was it.
Yeah, I, on the other hand, didn't have industry and experience, so I went with two academic references, or three, however many were required.
Yes, we require three, but under certain circumstances we can accept with two. We understand sometimes, yeah, circumstances are different, but yeah, we prefer three.
Yeah, I think in my case it was I had one academic reference, one industry reference, and then one reference from an internship. So yeah, there was a lot of mixed people that
Yeah.
I asked, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I think from our perspective on the admissions panel, it's a mix is generally best because it shows how you work in different environments. If you can only get one or the other, academic is probably better for our program just because you're going to be in the classroom a lot during the program. So understanding how you deal with classroom stuff is useful. But as Daniel said, if all you have are industry references, then that's fine too. Yeah, we look at the entire application. So references are only one part of that application when we're considering whether to make an offer.
I think that's kind of the more relevant information or questions that have been admissions wise been asked in advance. So I'm gonna drop off now. And Gary, I know you maybe if you want to end the panel with any questions you may have with the last 2 minutes we have.
Yeah, sure. So let me just so I know in the past.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say,
Yeah.
if anyone does have any questions, like this is your chance to either ask it now,
yes,
raise your hands. But if not, Garrett's gonna ask a question.
So one question that we get year after year is about the math prereq and whether linear algebra or calculus is more useful. From my perspective, linear algebra is more useful for the computational linguistics stuff. Calculus is there because of backprop, but backprop is automatic, and it's good to be able to understand it. But really, we're doing a lot of matrix operations, a lot of vector calculus. So linear algebra to me is more useful, but the prerequisite is for either one. So we won't penalize you for having a calculus class instead of a linear algebra class in the admissions process. But if you want to be better prepared for the program, I think linear algebra is a better choice. And I'm just seeing if there's any last ones that we didn't answer in our list. Oh, I see one here about yeah, I haven't gotten the results of my IELTS yet, but can I still apply? We have our application deadline is at the end of January. As long as you have the information by then please feel free to apply. It's there's not really a difference between the first round and the second round as far as more people in the first round get in or anything like that. But we do recommend we're past the first deadline now, so this isn't really relevant for this year. But if international students getting a visa takes time. So we do recommend to international students to try for the early deadline just to give more time to possibly process visas. IRCC has told us they're going to try to speed things up this year with visa processing, but that's out of our hands. So it's best if you can get us the information as quickly as you can so that we can so that you can apply for your study permit and get here for the end of August, start of September when we start classes. I see we're at 1:30. I don't want to.
I'm just gonna. I mean, if the alumni need to drop, but we have a raised hand from.
Oh yeah.
Komish, I'm sorry. If you want to, let's see if we can unmute you if you need to. Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh yeah. So please ask your question to Garrett. Yeah, you go ahead, Komish.
Okay, I'm from Malawi, Africa.
Yes.
My background is in IT, but I'm also
Okay.
interested. I've been interested in this data science. Of course, I did an MBA in data science, but I felt that it wasn't much for me. I wanted to hone my skills deeper in this area. So when I saw this UBC Master of Data Science, I was interested. But one thing that I felt that was a problem for me was the application fee was way
Mm-hmm.
too much, considering where we are coming from here. We have
Yeah.
a crisis in foreign currency. So, and I see the deadlines are coming up. I don't know how can you help people like us who are interested in applying in this
Yeah,
field.
yeah, yeah. I definitely appreciate your circumstances, and it's so I mentioned the MasterCard Foundation Scholarship, which is exclusive to the MDSV, which does help with African scholars. But we haven't traditionally done application waivers in the past, but we do consider based on circumstances. So I think this is something that it really is in a is a case by case basis. So I recommend that you send an email to me. My email is just or to our program. The information is on our website. And we can consider it before you apply, and I can talk to our staff about what we can do about it as well. Yeah, so Adrian's just posted the email in the chat as well.
Okay, I think I'll just get the email from the chat. And another thing is, one more thing
Yeah.
is English language proficiency tests.
Yes.
Can also be affected with the same issue of foreign currency things that are happening this side. Is it
Yes.
possible for people like us, we've done our high school diploma, the bachelor's degree in English, can we be waived for this English proficiency test?
Yes, so this is something that UBC does have a requirement for English proficiency. So this is largely outside of the program's hands for testing for English proficiency. But again, this is something that I can talk again with amongst our group. So yeah, include this in your email, and we can figure out if it's possible. I don't know off the top of my head if it can be waived. Vanessa, Adrian, do you know any more information about that?
It is a university-wide policy,
Mm-hmm.
so there may be uh we could maybe do a rationale to the graduate studies program, but yes, this is a case-by-case basis, so we highly recommend that you send us an email and we will review it.
All right, just to verify if I got the right email, it's link.mds@ubc.ca. Is that the right
Yes,
email?
that's correct. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we're at time, Garrett, so I think we're gonna wrap up.
Thank you again to our panelists. Thank you to everyone who attended the webinar, and I'm going to close it here. That ling.mds@ubc.ca is a great place if you have further questions. That it's really the best place to contact about questions about our program, and we can address them as they come up. So thank you once again to everybody.
Bye. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.